Hi guys, Jim here. In today's video I'm going to show you how to replace your offside or driver's side drive shaft on your Ford Focus. Let's get started. First off, we need to remove the driver's side wheel. Now the wheel has been removed, we need to remove the pinch bolt from the bottom ball joint. To do this you will need an 18mm socket and a T55 Torx part. Once it's undone, if it's stiff in there, you can do what I've tried to do here and loosen it off by turning the T55 around a few times. Once it's loose enough, grab your hammer and gently tap it out, being careful not to damage the threads. You can put your nut on the end of the thread if you are not that confident with a hammer to help avoid damaging the threads. You can also use a flat-headed punch to help tap the pinch bolt all the way through. With the pinch bolt removed, we now need to open up the gap on the hub where the ball joint sits into. We open this gap by simply pulling back the shield here and getting a chisel and a hammer and gently opening the gap. It's always a good idea to spray quite a lot of maintenance spray there as well to help unseize anything that may be stuck. Now using a long lever bar, find a suitable place to lever down the lower arm to pop the ball joint out of the hub, and if needed, use a hammer for a little bit of gentle persuasion. Once you've managed to loosen the ball joint and take it out from the hub, remove the protective metal shield and then protect the ball joint rubber with either a rag or a ball joint cover. Now using a 13mm, remove the half shaft bearing cover. You can do this next part one of two ways. I've chosen to do it this way on this occasion. Making sure there's a clean container to catch the escaping oil, pull out the drive shaft from the transmission. Make sure to catch the majority of the oil as we'll be reusing this. The second way to do this which is the way I'd actually recommend, is to drain the gearbox properly of all the oil so that you can then assess how much oil is came out and also know exactly how much oil is going back in. You can do this by going to the drain plug here, which is an 8mm, and again undoing it and catching the oil. The top is actually a fill up plug for later. Now that the oil's been drained, we need to get a bit better access to the driveshaft seal, so we need to move the driveshaft slightly out of the way. I always just took it up and over the exhaust, that way I've got plenty of room. Now let's remove the old seal. I do this with a lever bar and put it just inside the lip of the seal itself and lever it until it pops out. Be very careful not to lever up too hard and damage the transmission casing on the inside. Once this outer metal casing is popped off, I will just repeat the process to get the actual inside rubber part of the seal out. Again, being careful not to actually touch the inside of the transmission casing. And here's a quick look of the brand new seal that I shall be using. It's a genuine Ford part, you can see the part number on there. When installing this, there's no need to use any sort of grease or anything on it, you should just be able to tap it in. I shall be using this installation tool here. This is a special tool. You can, however, just use a socket, the right size socket, as long as you're careful. Just tap it in. Just make sure that it's going in squarely and evenly. Right, so now it's time to install the new driveshaft seal. So as you can see here, I'm just placing it carefully inside, making sure that the seal itself is square, and then all I should do is tap the tool with the hammer until it sits flush. Right, now the new seal's in place, it's time to start rebuilding. When you get to the driveshaft bearing cover, put the two 13mm back on evenly and just tighten them fairly finger tight to start off with. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab a torque wrench and we're going to torque each bolt to 35 Newton meters. If you're reusing the old pinch bolt, try to clean it up as best as possible and just pop a little bit of copper grease on the shaft of the bolt. Again on this bolt, put the nut on and just nip it up to start off with. And then grab your torque wrench and torque it up to 83 Newton meters. Now remove the Phillip plug on the transmission and put the oil back in the gearbox. It's always a good idea to check with the manufacturer how much oil the gearbox should take, and don't fill it until it's pouring out of this hole, because you will have overfilled it then. Once that's done, put the plug back in and tighten it up, and job done. Oh, and don't forget to torque your wheels up. The torque setting for your wheel nuts is 134 Newton meters. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it or it helped at all, please check out my other videos. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Until next time, peace.